Well, hello. It is that time of month again. Looks like I'm on holiday, doesn't it? Well, I'm not. I'm here in the yard. And I'm about to do my little walk around video to show you all of the progress that's happened in the past month. And there has been some. There has most definitely been a few changes, a few comings and goings. There's been quite a few car reviews. There's been some very good weather. And there's been a little bit of bad weather. Yard cat's been about almost every day, and I have a new pair of yard stompers, and I haven't even taken the ticket off. And no, it's not because I'm considering taking them back, but I'm just awkward. Everybody takes the tags off of boots and clothes when you get them. Another great thing this month was my social get-together the day after the last video like this, and that was fantastic. Yeah, it was brilliant. In fact, I'm going to be most definitely doing that again. First of all, we have Benny Jazz Mags. Benny Jazz Mags is working, MOT'd, and half ready for sale. And when I say half ready, what I actually mean is there was a lot of other jobs I wanted to complete on this car before trying to sell it, such as a full machine polish, such as a coolant flush and oil change and cam belt change and bits of things like that, little niggly things, bits of trim that are missing. I was going to put it all back together and ask a decent price for it, and in the meantime use it for the month. But the plan changed and I ended up putting it up for sale. And the great thing was, straight away some interest. Straight away somebody wanted to come and buy it that day. It was going to be delivered straight away, and it never happened. Contact lost. Suddenly no replies. And then there was another person who really wanted it, and again a similar situation, definitely wanted it, and now that's gone as well. So nobody's actually even viewed the car, yet I was so certain it was going to be sold. I took it off sale, or marked it as pending anyway. So that's one of the first things that's going to happen to this car today. But with the car, what's happened with it? Well, it's had an MOT, as I said. I put new brake calipers on the front, new second-hand that is, so ones that work. I've fitted all sorts of bits of pipes that were missing off the front that were stopping it from keeping its coolant. I've tightened up the inlet manifold, and I've put one piece of trim back on. And I've been using it, and it drives as you'd expect, which is, you know, all over the place, because the wheels are rather wide, aren't they? That's the trouble with 17-inch wheels on a car this kind of weight. It drives as it should do, everything's tight. It's just much more comfortable in a Rover 25. Next, we have a Rover 600 called Harry. And this Rover 600 was bought a couple of weeks back as, well, basically it was going to be a good little opportunity. It's an L-Reg 620 in Nightfire Red, of course. It's only done, I think, 2 miles since its last MOT. So all that was okay for its MOT last time should be good. And that was the point. It's just it doesn't start. However, these cars are renowned for a fuel pump relay issue that stops them from starting and is easy to fix. So the purchase of this car was somewhat a no-brainer. Although obviously it's not as nice as George, because they had the leather seats and the wood cappings and things like that. But it's still, you know, the 600 is a nice place to be. Unfortunately, the car is just a bit on the rough side, with dents and rusty bits everywhere and steel wheels of all things. So it's never going to be any kind of show winner. Even so, it's still an old Rover, and I like to see old Rovers given another chance. But unfortunately, some people don't view it that way, and all they think about is where their next bag of scrote tranquilizer is coming from. And the catalytic converter got stolen whilst it was sat in its previous parking place. And that somewhat changes its plans, because it's not just the catalytic converter. They don't do it carefully, do they? They don't just climb under there and carefully unbolt the thing. No, the reciprocating saw goes either side of the bolts, and so then you've got 3 sections of exhaust to replace, plus whatever wires are cut for the lambda sensor. So that now is a car with its future very much undecided. It's very warm here today, so I'm going to come inside. Inside there is the special car. Can you guess what that might be? Yes, Nigel having a nice little rest from yesterday, where it did about 240 miles, going to the Gaydon show. Everybody's seen enough of Nigel though, haven't they? Or have they? I don't know. Nobody's ever said to me, stop showing me that car, so I'm not going to stop showing it. In the boot at the moment is full of wheels. Picked up from David Bleasdale, who has them for Senior Mustard's car. Besides being washed a couple of times and having done a couple of 100 miles, well maybe 300 miles, it's been maybe more like 400 miles, come to think of it, because it has been used a bit. Nigel hasn't changed at all, and it hasn't missed a beat. It's been absolutely superb. It has been exactly the car that made me like it so much in the first place. I mean, that's the reliability side of it, not its crackerjack looks. For the past 4 days there's been this Vauxhall Astra parked in the yard, and it's not mine, and I'm not interested in it. And then we have Transit Face, which obviously never really gets much use, and since it was last shown I can say that nothing has happened whatsoever except for just one small thing. Just one small thing, and it's not even something physical. The MOT's run out. Due to circumstances of recent, I've not really been able to go and take it for its MOT because I probably won't pass anyway, so I'd be just wasting my money. So I thought I might as well wait until I've got some money aside, and then I can do whatever it needs that needs doing. If it needs anything, I'm sure it will. It's bound to do, isn't it? Jason the T-Rex is still there, and my trusty trolley, which unfortunately has got a bit bent. You see, the other day the door was jammed and I was using the bottom of this to try and get it open. I can still use it though. Why don't we now have a look at this, the SD1. The SD1 that's been parked here for 2 months and still hasn't moved. I've not taken the cover off or looked inside for over a month. For all I know, KD Lang could have taken up home in there, and you know, very much so. And writing herself her next 1990s hit as we speak. Well, it's still mostly green, and the good news is the door was locked, and there's no way anyone from the 90s, lesbian or not, could possibly be living in here right now. So I think this car is safe of such doings. Great storage space there. In an unlikely event, this Volkswagen Polo, of which I took out for a test drive last month, then broke down, and I had to go and collect the chap. And it's been here ever since. And now look at this. What is this? What is this doing here? It's a 800, a red Rover 800, a red Rover 820 with steel wheels and an interior full of gardening stuff by the looks of it. What's going on? What is it doing here, eh? What's going on? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. Gosh, it's hot in here. That's what's going on. Not only is it full of gardening materials, but it's like a greenhouse in here. It's so hot. That doesn't explain what it's doing here though, does it? That's okay, because I don't need to be sat inside it baking away to explain that. Well, this car is basically here temporarily whilst Rover Revival has a clear out, because, believe it or not, he's got less space than me at the moment, and I haven't got a great deal. Then we move on to Project Frank, which is in exactly the same place as last month. No progress, nothing at all. The car is up for sale as spares a repair, But the only kind of inquiries I have had have been rather silly ones, asking if I want to swap it for a scooter or a... Oh! Gosh, this garden's too spiky. Yeah, swaps. Swaps for scooters, games consoles, bags of illicit material, I don't know. The fact is, the only thing I want to swap this car for is £500. And if you haven't got £500, there's no point in asking if I want to swap. This is still here. Next, Project Amy. Now you already know that Amy is now coming apart, but have a look. Well, I've dropped down the engine and subframe. I've taken off the discs off the front because I need those, and I've used them. A couple of bits out the front have been taken, and these mirrors have been sold. The sunroof has been sold, and all sorts of bits of me, bits of trim and everything is all gone. And the tailgate is kind of over there, meaning that if it rains, this stuff will get wet. Actually, there's a bit there. I'll put that there. Oh, hang on, I almost forgot. That door is sold as well. So that means it's just a little worse for wear than it was a while back. Now, how about some good news? This car is called Project Christie. The green Rover 45, the press release car that's been sat in the corner for months doing nothing. Well, now as you can see, it has moved, and if we look inside, if I can find the right key to look inside, then we will find that it was already open. Now that was a mistake. That no work has been completed. It's exceedingly hot in there as well. Oh gosh, it's so hot in there. I'm going to have to close the door and walk away from it, I think. Anyway, the progress is that this car is going to be fixed and probably on the road in about a week. Yep, not my doing though. It's being sold to Craig. Yep, Rover Revival taking it on. It's going to be his wife's car, which is great news. Next we have Project Brian Johnson. Open Brian Johnson. Oh, hang on, it can't, can it? So that's the news for that one. Yes. Currently, Brian Johnson has no battery in it. And it has no battery because I took it out to put into another car. Oh, what? I don't believe this. I think I've made a bit of a boo-boo. Oh dear, that was a bit silly. I've taken out the battery from Brian Johnson to put in another car. And then I didn't bother replacing that battery. I just rolled it down here because I didn't think it mattered. And now I've just remembered this key doesn't fit the door. So that means I've got to find a different way of getting in. Well, don't worry, I do know a way of getting in. It does involve jump leads and climbing underneath the thing. But yeah, I wouldn't have done that, but I realised if I remembered that this key doesn't actually fit. So I can't even show you inside that at the moment. Not that it's changed. But anyway, the reason why there's no battery in this car is because of that car over there. Yeah, I'll tell you briefly about this one. This is a 414. It's not owned by me, but it's staying here until its owner comes to collect it. Yeah, the owner lives somewhere like Norfolk land or one of those third world counties, and he basically bought Project Max. Come along, bought Project Max. I put the battery onto Max because the one in there wasn't very good, and then he's driven it away, so I have sold a car. Just not really the one I wanted to sell. But back on this, obviously the solution is jump leads onto the starter motor. Or break a window. I'm not going to do that. Now let's move on to another car, which is this one. Ah, that works. How delightful. Yeah, the Project Ronda. So named, I believe, because it's kind of Honda and Rover at the same time. Or you could probably say something else about it. Besides having a decent battery put in it, so it will at least work. Nothing's happened with this either. Will this still start? Not looking like it, actually. No! The fact is, it doesn't really need to start because it's not going anywhere. Not today anyway. This car has been put up for sale as a project, just like that 600 up there, just like Christine was. And I've had a few people asking about it, but it's been very, very clear indeed that asking is a very different matter to actually buying it. Yeah, so no cleanup or anything in here so far. I've just noticed this button. Does it work? No. Further down the other end of the yard we have Boaty's MG ZT190 in silver. Last month his other car was here. It was a Rover 75. It was here for its MOT. It's got its MOT now. And then he thought he'd bring another one for me to see what it needs for its MOT. And I know what it needs. It needs a couple of tyres. So hopefully when he's got some money he'll be able to pay for some tyres and it can go back to his house. It's been the first time ever that the yard has been actually full of cars. It didn't end there because there's another Seat over there. And that one also not mine, which is exactly why I'm not even going to bother looking at it. So what's missing? Yep, there is a car missing, isn't there? Derek, the Rover 820. Last month I revealed that I actually got it going and the engine's good and it was working. I was driving it around the yard. But of course progress was hampered by the fact that the fuel tank wasn't connected to anything. All the pipes, all 5 pipes allowing you to put petrol inside there were non-existent. Well, they were existent, but only half of them because they've been cut through. And that meant that to fix that, it's going to be a tank-off jobby. So, just like the others, I put that car up as a project as well. And before long, it went. Correct. No idea where I got to just then. Somebody just popped around and I forgot what I was up to. About the 800. But basically, it's gone. That means there's only one car left, and that is this one. Battery is good in that because it's still opening. Not only is it still opening, but it still smells nice in here as well. But will the engine start? Look at that. It's been here for a month. Will the aircon still work? Blowing out lots of hot air at the moment. Yes, the aircon is working still. That's fantastic. And the thing is, if Project Jenny Bazmags, whatever you want to call him, was to sell, I think, there's no doubt about it, this is the one I go back to. This is just such a pleasant car to be in, and I miss it. And getting in it and finding the aircon works is, you just can't really beat that, can you? If only I didn't have to go, I could just happily sit here for a while now. Nobody has got their hand in their wallet to buy Alfie. And I keep thinking that's a good thing because it is one of those cars that I don't really want to sell. So looking at Prince Alfie here, it does make me think this one thing. Please buy Benny Jazzmags so I can get back to this car, because I want this car more than Benny Jazzmags, more than Brian Johnson, and more than oh, that's all I've got. Everybody takes the tags off clothes and boots and things when they get them new, even if the tag is somewhat on the outside telling you who made it. So me, I prefer to have something that doesn't really tell you anything but has the price still left on the outside. And that's not true either. I'm just still being awkward.